Okay, you want to introduce the interview?
This is our interview with Eternal Storm. Loved our chat with these guys. It's crazy how Daniel lives in Scotland, but they still consider themselves a Spanish band, by the way. If you haven't checked out A Giant Bound to Fall, do yourself a favor. This is big, this is dark, this is really great atmospheric music.
My favorite part is about three-quarters of the way through, we figure out that the singer is having trouble with his microphone, and a lot of the stuff he said, nobody heard. And the other guys in the band are just like, oh, poor baby. Wow. Here it is.
Yeah, it's a miserable rainy day here, so it reminds me of your album covers.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, whoops. Sorry about that.
Quite fitting indeed.
And they're about to run the Preakness here today in Baltimore. I'm so glad I didn't go this year. You'd just be soaked blood.
Oh my God.
Pay $500 to stand in the rain and shiver, you know.
And smell horses.
Yep, exactly.
So you guys are kind of multi-country with Daniel being, in Spain and Jamie in Scotland. So
Yep.
how do you navigate that as a band and kind of share ideas?
Well, we've been working like that for almost a decade now, and I mean, it's a bit complex when it comes to obviously not having the chance to rehearse as much as we would like to, like having like weekly rehearsals and stuff like that. But in terms of composition, we've always been actually, even when I was living in Spain, we always like wrote our stuff at home mainly, and we just like shared the ideas via I don't know, like demo recordings or guitar profiles and stuff like that. And only when we got into the rehearsal place, we started to just like put all the ideas together. But our main way of working was mostly like having all things already prepared from home.
Yeah.
So in that case, in that sense, it hasn't really changed things that much. It's still quite easy for us to like just record stuff, send files to each other, and then just like obviously have a chat, have video calls, just discuss different ways to approach the songs, stuff like that. And obviously when I go there, we just like have like proper rehearsals and we just like finish building the tracks all together. It's more hard when it comes to like just like the human aspect of it. It's just like just like having fun together every week and stuff like that. But we're getting by anyway.
Yeah. It must take a lot of upfront planning, I would think.
Yeah, it does. It does take a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a big move from Spain to Scotland. That probably was difficult.
Yeah, I don't even know why I did it in the first place, to be honest. So yeah, but yeah, we're just like considering maybe just returning and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's gonna be a big moving truck.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's sick of so much rain. So
Oh, definitely. Sick of the Eternal Storm, actually.
yeah, we're gonna turn into an indie band when he comes back.
Okay.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
That's
start playing stoner. That's that rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've noticed some kind of correlation between like dark, rainy places and great extreme music.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So
True,
it's
yeah.
like, between like Norway and, Finland and Scottish moors.
It's true.
Yeah.
Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah, the swamp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Eternal Storm is a fantastic name for a band. How did you come to choose it over, what was it, Death Valley before?
Yeah, it was Death Valley, actually. Yeah.
Mm.
I think like both Daniel and I, we are not so sure about Eternal Storm being such a great name. We always had like this like thing of like, oh, it sounds like a bit of a cliche, in a way.
I love it.
We were like, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I think we
It's memorable.
we came to terms with it,
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, seriously, I remember.
what it is.
I mean,
I go way back. I
it is-
remember standing in the record store in the early 90s and going, Dream Theater. Who came up with that? You guys will never do anything,
Absolutely.
No, I think Eternal Storm's a great name. Yeah.
I mean, it is a catchy name, and I think it actually reflects the music as well. It's just like maybe, I mean, it's a bit like archetypical, like for metal band, but it works, and it is what it is,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we can change it at this point, or we don't want to. At least,
We were young and naive, and what's done is done, I guess.
I mean, Death
I think
Valley
it's-
was way worse.
Yeah, I agree.
Way more overused. Yeah.
Yeah, Death Valley that's too much of a stoner vibe to that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Maybe
reminds
we
me more
can
of
do that when
great
we
spot
stop.
on Jupiter, that storm that's always
Yeah,
shining, the
yeah, I
great
think
big
it's
red
great.
spot.
You know, and you
Hmm.
can't tell. It's not like you look at it and go, "It's prog metal" or "It's whatever." You
Hmm.
know, like it does. It's sort of there's some mystery. You know. So,
Yeah, no, nice. I like that you see it that way. Yeah, that's good.
yeah, yeah.
So Jonathan's kind of the newest member, but as like a band, what kind of personality does each person bring? Is there, you know,
Mhm.
the leader, the dad, or the
dad.
goofball?
But the dad is Daniel, obviously.
Yeah, Maranto is a dad for sure.
I actually am a dad. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
we are all like
He actually became a
dads.
dad a year ago, so he's
Oh,
an actual dad. But
I am,
yeah,
but I started parenting these guys before myself. I think. Yeah.
yeah, he's the
Um,
babysitter of the band,
Okay.
and I would
Yeah.
say musically Jaime would be the
Yeah.
leader, maybe, or like the creative.
He's
Most
like
of the
the
band.
main creative.
Yeah, in terms of
Voice, yeah.
songwriting, I just like I'm the main
More
songwriter of
involved.
the band. But yeah, but I think like it's like a symbiotic relationship we have with like like Daniel takes care of all the logistics mainly, like all the behind the scenes kind of stuff. Like he's way better than I am at that. And Danny, he contributes a lot with like vocal lines and lyrics as well. So it's a well balanced. Like yeah, we have like different roles, but all of us like combine them at the end.
Is there somebody
Yeah, I
going,
think
try diminished fifth, and somebody else going, what?
Well, I would be I'll be that one. You're like, what the fuck are you saying?
Yeah, we used to yell stuff like that at each other in the band, and I'd be like, what? What are you talking
Actually,
about?
like
Flat
like
seven, what?
yeah, sometimes like when we're in the studio, Daniel, for instance, he likes to come with arrangement like last minute when we're in the studio, okay? And I'm probably recording, like the and he's just like, why don't you try this like whatever thing? And I was like, what the fuck are you saying, mate? Like I don't really know what it is,
Exactly.
But it actually
bad timing.
normally it always turns to be like really pretty good arrangement, I must say. Like my first reaction is always like, fuck no, don't tell me to change this shit now. But then I'm like, dude, you were actually quite right, man.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What can I say? Procrastination is an art.
Yeah.
it definitely seems like it's more of a democracy. We had interviewed this one band, and more than one, where one person was like, no, I make all the decisions. I'm it. If I say,
It probably takes longer that way though to get things done though, if everybody buys in.
Yeah, I don't know if like yeah, we're kind of a democracy. I might act like a dictator sometimes inside, like, no, but like we all like like get to say things, and yeah.
That's good.
But
So
it'd be
it's
much
about
easier
building
if it
things
was
together.
yeah. If someone was the leader of everything, it would be much easier. I feel like.
Well, if everybody buys in, then later you can't go, well, I never liked that idea to start with. You know what I mean? Like you're kind of all committed.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
This
Yeah,
was your shitty idea in the first place. You don't have that.
Exactly. We start like blaming each other for that.
Yeah.
You guys have such big songs and some big themes. Where do your muses come from? I mean, are there some like weirder ways that things might kind of come into being or start you off with an idea? And you all might have different answers.
It's much more mundane, I think. Like some of the the song ideas or the melodies or the riffs, just like sometimes to me they just like came when I was like going to work riding the bike or just like having a shower, and I was like, oh shit, this is good. And I was just like, all right, before starting work I would just like record something on my phone, and then when I go home I would actually just like write it actually properly and record it. So yeah, I don't know, like there's not like a set in stone way of writing the tracks and coming up with music. It might be like like, or it just jamming like at home, or even like sometimes when we are rehearsing, the times that we actually manage to rehearse, we are just like maybe just like jamming to some tune and something comes up that actually serves as the basis for another track. Like for instance, like with our previous drummer, with Mateo, we all like Opeth, like the band. And that was the time when they released their album Sorceress, and we were just like obsessed with that track. And now we just like we were kind of like jamming to it, like things that were similar to it. and one of the riffs from the track, from one of the songs from the album, from Demolition, the second track, it just that song was born out of just like jamming to Opeth, actually, which is just that jamming to a tune from Opeth, and we're like, oh,
It's like a
this is
tribute.
cool, you know.
Yeah.
And then we just like from there we just like started evolving the track. So as you can see, like the tracks can be born out of so many different ways for us, you know. It's just like no set in stone way of writing them.
That's cool.
I think for me, it's always like when I go out for a run, I
Mhm.
always swear if I could run long enough, I could solve all my problems because some idea will just pop into
There
my
you
head.
go.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's true.
that's how you do it.
exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
So Come to the Tide was released in 2019. So that was during the pandemic. I'm sure that impacted that release to some extent as far as not being able to tour or do shows.
Yeah, we just did like a short European tour with our friends in Tottenham and a couple of Spanish dates, and that was it. I mean, we had to cancel like big festival we had here in Madrid, and we had a lot of plans. But I mean, to be honest, it wasn't that bad for us because we could focus on the new album, work on the material and polish it and everything like that. So, I mean, it wasn't like a disaster, as it was for many other bands.
Yeah.
I'll say.
Yeah, I feel like we were already writing mode before the pandemic happened. So
Yeah, right before that.
yeah, we just dove into that even more with all the quarantine and everything.
Yeah.
So, but this album was written kind of close to that, from what I understand. But then you kind of introduced Danny, so I guess it probably took a while for you to integrate his input into what was already kind of templated. How did that go?
Yeah, like basically as well, the guys were saying before, like we were already in writing mode after when Come the Tide was actually released, and our initial plans were to actually enter the studio at the end of 2019 to record this album. We had like the skeleton of it basically like already written, but since the previous singer left as well, and then Danny joined, and then the pandemic happened and all that stuff, we just used those 2 years, actually 2 extra years to polish all the material with Danny. Actually Danny contributed with a lot of not only vocal lines but like a lot of like arrangements and guitar lines and bass lines and stuff.
It's great.
So yeah, I mean, like honestly, when we think about it, if we actually enter the studio at the end of 2019 to record the album, it wouldn't have been a good record. I don't think it was. Like we were like carried away and we were like, oh yeah, fuck, let's just enter the studio and record it. But nah, it would have been shit, to be honest. So it was actually good for us to, you know, like have
It was beneficial,
a couple
yeah.
extra years, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird how stuff like that. Sometimes it feels like it happened for a reason or something, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah.
And Daniel, you're in the hospitality industry as well. Are you still?
Me? You mean?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, mostly like technical production. Like I do, I'm the production manager for a pretty well established Spanish promoter, and I do tour managing for some bands as well. Like I don't know, stage managing, everything. So yeah, like I'm pretty much involved with the live music scene all the time. So yeah, I mean, that was bad when the pandemic happened, as you can imagine. But yeah,
We
I mean,
never
a lot
thought
of
we were
fun.
going to see live music again. It was horrible. Like,
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it was
It
terrible.
was tough. It
That
was
was a tough time.
but
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm trying to get like I don't know, like a good side, like focus on the good side from that because I was like pretty much
Monty Python style.
burnt. Yeah, I was looking on the bright side of life. That's like the motto because I was like pretty much burnt from like a few very difficult years, like working nonstop, so I could get some perspective and starting enjoying live music again, because when you're doing this for a living and you're playing bands, you work with bands, and then on your free time you also do stuff with bands and you go to shows. Sometimes you don't really get to appreciate what you're doing unless there's a band you really like. So I could, like, my ears got some kind of rest, and now I'm like, yeah, but yeah, it's fun. I mean, you learn a lot of stuff. You get to see like a lot of things that people don't realize about about bands and music and events and what it takes to make something like a festival happen. So yeah, I'm loving it. I've been doing this for more than a decade now, and it's like a never-ending journey.
Yeah, I remember like when we were finally coming out of the pandemic, two things I wanted was live music and to actually sit at a bar and have a beer. It was
Oh
like,
yes.
Oh,
God.
That was another one. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we went to a show during,
socializing.
we went to a show during the pandemic. It was just a Rush tribute band, and they were
Mm,
good, but
nice.
we couldn't get up from the table.
They wouldn't let you
I
sit.
tried to give the girl a $20 bill to get a drink, and she looked at me like I was the Antichrist because you had to
Oh.
order
From an app.
through an
Right.
app, and I thought, this is
Oh my
this is
God.
not a concert, this
Oh
is
no, yeah.
yeah.
Actually, our first concert after the pandemic was like that. Well, like we had like to play in front of a sitting audience. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is the audience was sitting. Yeah, but that only
Mm.
lasted like for a month or something
I
like
think it
that.
was like a few months only. At least in Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
think
glad
so, yeah.
we're back full force. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
working in a restaurant then,
Oh.
and then for a while we could only do carry out, and then they would only let you serve people outside. So we had like one outside area, but then we kind of made one in the parking lot.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the regulations seem to be a bit contradictory. Like it was difficult to navigate them. Yeah.
Yeah, really want to. Yeah.
It
So
looks like.
I've-
I mean, that's right. Yeah, I was saying that it feels like a weird nightmare we
Period.
had. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been like 4 years already, and now you think about that, and it's like this really happened.
Yeah, it happened to all of us. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it did, and it was some serious shit. I mean, Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was nuts. I remember running carry out to somebody outside, and they were like, "Put the bags down and back away." I'm like, "When did this become a hostage situation?"
Oh my God.
Wow.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. I learned a lot about how crazy we all are from it.
Yeah.
I really
I think we all did.
Yep.
Yeah.
So getting back to A Giant Bound to Fall, I really fell in love with it right away. You've got these 9 vast tracks that span, an hour and 9 minutes, but you manage to keep the plot line so busy that it never, ever feels repetitive. So
Thank you.
when you're musically trying to set out to writing that, are you committed to a sound or just let it be as long as it wants to be? Or what's your vision as far as that goes?
Well, like in terms of the length, we don't want to restrict ourselves. Like it's what comes out of it, it's what comes out of it. But we did have a few chats. Like we already saw that it was going to be a long record, and Daniel and I were just like, should we just like go crazy and write as much as we want to, or should we just like keep it up to a certain minimum? I think in the end we went a bit crazy, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, like honestly, like we know it's such a long record. We know that's for sure, and obviously it's a demanding record, and like 70 minutes it's a long time, and it's asking people to give up a lot of their time, but we just felt like those were the tracks that we wanted to put there, and it had to be I mean, like that was the length that they had to have, nowadays, like obviously when we're writing something new, we maybe are a bit more conscious about that, and we might want to make a bit of a shorter record. But for A Giant Bound to Fall, I feel like like the length was the way it had to be, like honestly, yeah.
There's so many twists and turns. You can
Mhm.
sometimes you forget how long the song really is
Mhm.
because it just never gets bored. It just never.
No, thank you.
No, I thought it was
really
great. I mean,
appreciate it.
and if it takes an hour, to really fully to get it all out, then that's what it takes. I mean, I think in this genre, this style of music,
Mhm.
the fans are willing to hang in there. I mean, we want
Yeah, that's
we want
that's true, man.
we want
The full
the
experience.
full experience. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, like,
yeah.
because we were also like, I mean, we consider maybe like, oh, can we just like trim a few parts here and there? But I think that would be a disservice to. I mean, that would not be honest to ourselves. Like we just wanted those parts to be there. So
We will sacrifice the immersion of some of the tracks.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we're just like doing these kind of like repetitions or like twists and turns for no reason. I mean, so we will really compromise the quality of the music if we sacrifice like a couple of loops or something like that. So I mean, I understand that it's not only that it's a long album, and it's an album that really needs like repeated spins in order to understand all the nuances and everything, because we are not like a normal, like a straightforward death metal band, so to speak, which just have like, you know, blast beats and then like more like mid-tempo, but we have like a lot of different like dynamics and vocal styles, and like every song has like a story to tell. So, and we have like a lot of like arrangements, like keyboards and additional instrumentation and backing vocals, and then we have a guest. So I really think that I understand why it can get like a bit like frustrating or maybe like overwhelming for some listeners, but I mean, it is what it is.
Right. You have to feel good about it.
Like,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we do.
for instance, like the opening track, An Abyss of Reason. You've got 2+ minutes just eerie synth. But I think it's so important to set that tone. And, you know, radio Let It Be Damned. I'm sure that was the first thing that they would want to take out. You can't. And you actually had a guest synth player. How did that happen? And how did you choose who would be involved for that?
Well, actually, most of the synths are actually played by us. Our guest player is a good friend of ours. He's called Javi. He plays he played in a lot of bands actually, and now he's playing a really good doom metal band called Todo Mal, which means all bad or all evil, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And what he did the guest synths for the previous album, for Come the Tide, and for this one we already sent him the synths that we had done, you know, the MIDI tracks and the MP3s as well. And he added an extra layer on top of that because he had like better plugins than the ones that we had. And he also added a few synths of his own as well. But in general, like I would say, like, I don't know, like 80% of the synths were actually written by us and actually played by us. They are actually the ones that we had for the demos. It's just those, and then an extra layer on top of that. And also we had another guest synth collaboration on the first track on Abyss of Unreason, which is just like in the middle section. There's like this crazy kind of like John Carpenter, yeah, it's like creepy synth part, and that was done by another guy who, funny enough, he actually is famous for playing in a grindcore band actually,
really?
which is called Machetazo. So yeah, he was we know that he also had like a
ambient project,
kind of like ambient drum project, which we actually liked a lot, and we asked him if he would like to collaborate, because we also like saw that he did an interview years ago for one of his bands, and he actually mentioned our album, the previous one, Come the Tide, as one of his favorite records that he had listened recently. So we actually got in touch with him and would you actually be willing to put some synth on the record? And he was actually so happy about it.
He also contributed with some piano, like
there's a
intro at the end. Yeah, so like we gave him some guidelines. Okay, like, hey Robert, this is what we would like to do. I mean, but of course you can do your own thing. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do something similar to that. And then he sends us like his proposal.
Yeah, well, what the fuck?
I fucking blew our. I mean, we got like a brain fart when we heard it, because he was like had nothing to do at all. I totally changed the direction of the track, but we loved it. So like, actually, dude, I mean, you're fucking crazy, man. We're gonna keep this.
Just one of the best things about collaborations that I say is like when the people that's actually contributing actually does whatever the fuck they want. Sometimes actually it's like really fucking good, to be honest. Like, it's like, oh wow, man, you just like gave the track new life, you know. And this was one of those cases, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, instead of just trying to get like name dropping or something, or like cashing in from someone else's popularity, we're trying to get like someone else's voice,
someone who is creative, DNA. You know. And yeah,
because all these people, they're people that they are either friends of us or like we've been following their music for years. So it really means a lot to every one of us to have their own contribution and to spice our music, our own tracks.
It seems like more a trend these days, I guess, now that we're able to do things, not necessarily all in the same room. But I think it's true. It creates such a great result. And that first track to me, it almost seems like it's like a descent into madness, and it just
Mm.
builds.
Mhm.
Um, what in life do you find yourself dwelling on in a reasonable manner that almost seems like madness to you? Because that's what it feels like to me. Is there anything in particular?
Sorry, can you repeat the question again?
Well, that track just got me thinking about like, your own personal descents into madness. Is there
Uh-huh.
anything you wake up at 2 in the morning, just inane thoughts or fears that you might have?
It's well, yeah. It's I mean, the way we want to write the themes and the lyrics is always a bit ambiguous. Ambiguous, you know. It's not like this is the meaning. Has to. It really means that like we just want to leave it open, but it all comes from from our own thoughts, fears, anxieties, like doubts, and we just want to also like get the listener the chance to project their own ideas into it, like whether you want to look at it from like those lyrics, whether you want to read them from a personal point of view or you want to read them as a look at society as a whole, that's entirely up to you. I think like even between us we have like different interpretation of the lyrics, because like for this particular track as well, and based on reason, the first half of the track the lyrics are written by me, the second half are written by Danny. And I think like we both probably have like a different interpretation of what they mean. I think like we agree at the core of it, which is what you're saying, like some kind of like introspection, some kind of like descent into your own mind. But obviously, like the outcome of it might be different for us, and might be different for absolutely everyone that wants to get a look at it.
I think it's important. I also really like The Last Refuge. It was such a bipolar study of light and dark,
Hmm.
and it just layers those growls and vocals, and you have those cool guitar verses, and the drums are just going out, in, out, in. For you guys, when you write something like that, do you start with the lyrics or do you start with the music, or is it never quite the same process?
I think for this record, all the tracks started with the music, I would say, right, guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's only on the previous album that we did the
Mm.
Scarlet Lake before
Mhm.
the music, but other than that, it's always the music first for us.
It's always the
Wow.
music. Yeah, we kind of like, I don't know, like I think like we have like a vague idea of what the atmosphere and the vibe is, and what
And the,
the
and the
and what
title usually.
the titles as well. Yeah, we have like we have like the themes behind it as well, but the lyrics come after the music is written, actually.
You ever have a goofy working title first before you
Of
name
course
it?
we have.
Yeah,
Of-
other than
yeah.
for the Dim Illusion, for which we had the lyrics and everything, and we were just trying to think about the right title for it, and it took us a while to agree on something. Yeah.
Yeah,
For
I
the
think
moment.
like that was called like a demolition was called Tupo song. Tupo was the nickname we gave to our drummer,
So
previous drummer
drama.
Mateo.
Okay.
So it was Tupo song, and it's still for us. It's still Tupo song. It will always be Tupo song.
Yeah.
I think personally my favorite track though is The Void. And I like how you do that little opus moment with the little acoustic guitar solo. Is that what inspired it, or just
I would say like yes, and also maybe even more than Opeth. I think that's like a throwback to the old albums by In Flames,
Flames,
and
yeah.
the Dissection as well. That kind of like melodic death metal stuff from the early 90s, like mid 90s, early 90s, kind of. Yeah. Because we really love that kind of music, like and we always like those kind of like acoustic moments and harmonies, like lead harmonies and stuff like that.
It
So
was
yeah,
like,
we definitely
what was going on in Sweden back then, Just like
exactly,
one great band after another,
Yeah, so we definitely wanted to put in there so as kind of a tribute,
Yeah.
so I don't know if you could remember, or maybe there's more than one answer. In Lone Tree Domain, I love the lyrics: amid this barren land, a tree tall and proud, yet incomplete. But I was trying to think of what the tree might be symbolic of, or maybe it's many things.
Yeah, it's many things, you know. For me, it's an individual, you know, the tree, you know, it's like, but it can be many things, you know, like I just see it as like as a person, you know, like a person and just like isolated from the world, basically, you know, like
Yeah.
just like in a place of reflection, kind of, you know.
Yeah.
But it's totally open to interpretation, you know.
Yeah, like for instance, I always joke that it's about the condor. It's the laundry ministry. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. So for this, how was it working with Dan Sueno?
Amazing.
Efficient.
Did you actually get to meet him, or were you just kind of remote?
Nah,
Emails, yeah.
gifs, but like I spoke to him like more than my parents, I think, at some point. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
amazing, man. And
Hey,
we've been fans for.
yeah, he was so easy to work with, actually, you know, like he was so fast replying and sending us updates of the mixes, just which is like crazy. Like we would send him the, you know, our notes, and he would just get back to us with an update mix, you know, like a few hours later or something like that. It was just fucking amazing.
Minutes.
Yeah.
Even minutes
Oh,
sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go, man.
Wow.
Here, this one, guys.
It's
You
2
know.
it's 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an expert chef, you know, they just 3 minutes in the kitchen and they're like souffle, and you're like,
Fuck
"Huh?"
yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. No, no. We and he was so friendly as well. You know, it's like, you know, like really nice guy to deal with. You know.
Yeah, he lives up to his reputation totally.
Oh no, totally,
Like
totally.
he's fucking legend.
He's a fucking legend. You know.
Yeah, we had skeletal remains on the show. And
Mhm.
Oh
they
yeah,
said the
so
same thing.
you spoke to
They said the
Brian,
same
was it?
thing. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that they were dealing with Swano, same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good band.
Yeah, you're really good. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So were there any big challenges that you encountered when recording this album, or did it all go pretty smoothly?
I think the actual recordings went quite smooth, right? Yeah. Yeah. No. No. Like
Yeah.
yeah. We went to record the drums. In a different studio, like outside of Madrid. You know, we went to the north of Spain in Galicia, it's northwest. We went to the studio owned by the guy who recorded Come the Tide. He had the studio before in Madrid, but then he decided to move up to the north. So in this case, obviously, we just like we didn't have the because he's living. Sorry, guys, I'm just having. Oh, sorry, guys. I think like our singer is having problems. He's trying to speak and we cannot hear him. He's just texting us.
You
Sorry,
guys can't
guys.
hear me, can
It's
you?
instrumental.
We hear you now.
No.
We
I
can
can
hear
hear
you
you.
now.
Oh, can
Okay.
you? Okay. I think
So-
my mic is a bit fucked, so if I
It is,
That's
speak,
okay.
you can't hear me.
I was wondering why you were so silent, you know?
Yeah, no. I was making comments, but no one was reacting. So
Oh,
are they
no.
just
No,
ignoring me?
poor guy.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, we because like obviously his studio was now in Madrid now, we couldn't afford to stay there for the whole time to record the full record. So we just went there to record the drums. And then we went back to Madrid and we finished recording the rest of the instrument in a different studio, in the Empty Hall studio, which is I don't know, it's a really good friends of ours as well. I don't know, I think we were like 3 weeks in there, 4 weeks actually, maybe, I don't know.
More.
Yeah,
We're a
more
little
than
over
that,
more.
because yeah, we kept going for just like recording some extra vocal takes and stuff like that. But it was just like really fun process, you know. Like we love going to the studio. It's just like I don't know, it's like a party kind of, you know. It's like
I'll say that other than losing our drummer like 3-4 months before recording and
well, yeah, fuck.
and just spending a long time trucking, it was
Mm.
particularly challenging because
Mm.
like Danny and Jaime, they had like a very clear vision because with all the pre-production they did and everything like that. So everything was pretty much clear. I mean, of course, we changed some stuff, especially because I was like pestering them with annoying last minute changes. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we just need time because it's a complex album with a lot of overdubs and layers. Blah 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 blah.
There's there's that balance between you want to make an album that's got a lot going on, a lot of instrumentation, but then you also have to perform it live. Is there any parts of the album that you think will be difficult that you'd have to cut out for a live show, or that, you know?
Yeah, well, like obviously we will have to resort to some backing tracks and stuff like that. Obviously, like keyboard stuff. For instance, like
Right.
keyboards, we don't have a keyboard player, so all that's like it's like a backing
Right.
track. For the rest of things, I think like we manage pretty well because like even if we have to just like leave some guitar line out or stuff like that, that's still okay. It's just a different environment. It's a different setting. The live. It doesn't have to be like a one-to-one replica of the albums. It has to be.
Yeah.
So as long as we have like like the atmosphere that the keyboards provide, that's very important to us, of course. But the rest, like vocal wise, I do some backing vocals together with Danny as well, and just like leaving some little guitar or little arrangements out, that's still okay. So I don't find it particularly difficult to bring into the live environment.
For Danny, where do those cathartic screams come from? Do you have to think of something or go somewhere, or does it just happen? I'm like, God.
Fix the microphone.
goosebumps.
Oh, I can hear you. No, now you try again.
Okay, I think something's wrong because
But we
Okay,
can hear you now.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
We can hear
you
you.
can hear me now. Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
All right.
It's your chance, mate.
Yes. Well, first of all,
Milk him.
thanks for the compliment because I think in metal that's a good thing to sound cathartic. Yeah, I don't know, just technique and a lot of inner anger, and I'm a very calm person. I actually work as a therapist outside
So
of
you're a
music,
psychopath then, right?
Okay.
No, not at all. So I do think I use metal as an outlet for all my negative emotions and anger and difficult things to process. So yeah, that's my main output. I think I'd say.
I
A
find
martial
metal
arts.
I
people
just
to be
scream
like
as hard
the
as I can.
nicest people, and I think that's why.
Yeah, I agree. I think the metal community is it's full of very chill and lovely people in general.
Well, I admire you for being a
Lovely people.
therapist. I could never be one because I would always just be like, get over it. I mean, is it really going to matter in 5 years? I could not do it. So hats off.
Thank
you know.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, that was always my dad's line when I'd be upset about something. He'd be like, "What's gonna matter 100 years from now?"
Like I worked with these two
Argument.
women at an old job that I forget what happened, but they saw each other every day and hated each other and didn't speak for 10 years. And I just
Oh my
thought,
God.
Wow, that's sad.
I don't have the energy to stay mad for that
my.
long,
Wow.
So they could have used some therapy, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty complicated as it is, so I think most of us could use it at some point in
Yep,
our lives.
yep.
So, Danny, is it also hard to balance your time with Persephone? Because I know you got a lot going on there too.
Yeah, well, that's been pretty recent. I joined the band last year, so it's still a pretty new thing for us. Danny also joined the band called Cancer, so I'd say the three or even the four of us, because Jonathan, our drummer, who's not here today, he also has a few other bands and cool projects. So I feel like now more than ever we're writing down our calendars like 2 years ahead just to find gigs we can do together or when we can record our next album. So it's a challenge for sure. With Persephone, we are having a very, very busy year. So yeah, but we're making it work for now. I feel
Things
like
have
Eternal
changed.
Storm is not.
Things have changed so much. It used to be changing out the singer was like a heart transplant, it was like, and then it would be like, well, will he
Yeah.
sing the old stuff? Will he sing the stuff he didn't write? How will the band go on? But it's not like that anymore. We see more and more bands that are able to get a new singer and they get a whole new fresh kind of sound out of it.
Yeah, I feel like our genre
You
music.
do that while I do
it's-
my stream. Give me another minute. Yeah. Sorry, technical difficulties.
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. I feel like in this genre of music, it's probably a lot easier to change singers than maybe in other styles of music. Even though the front band or singer is always like a big part of the identity of the band, I feel like most fans don't care about it as much.
Yeah,
that's just my impression. Like my impression with both Eternal Storm and Persephone has been always very good with the fans, and very welcoming and kind. So yeah, I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, we interviewed Pepe from Hatesphere, and he's like on his 5th singer that he's gone out and recruited. He could write a book on it.
Shit.
Oh,
my
Jesus.
And he
God.
acted like it was no
Yeah.
big deal at all. Yeah. Well, actually, why don't you?
Okay.
you grab, She's going to grab a power cord. We play a game on the show, and it's
Oh,
called Blaspheming Monikers. Okay. So
Mhm.
I'll explain how the game works. Okay.
Right.
So I have five band names that are in front of me. One of them I made up. So
Okay.
I'll read them to
Right.
you, and then you guys guess which one is fake until you either get it right or we run out of band names. Okay. Okay. First, Trample the Cross. Second, Steel Cross. Third, Lorraine Cross. Fourth, Cross Examination. And fifth, Crossed Streams. So
Cross-examination.
you want to guess that one? Cross Examination?
I'm going
They're
with that
real.
one.
They're thrash. They're thrash from Florida. Actually.
right.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're from St. Louis. They have one full
Uh-huh.
length and 5 EPs.
Right.
So yeah, that's a real one. So that
I was
leaves
gonna say the
ahead.
first one you said, which I forgot.
Trample the Cross.
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay, no, they're real too. They are
Hmm.
Oh,
they're black metal from Virginia, and they have 3
Mhm.
Oh.
EPs. So that leaves Steel Cross, Lorraine Cross, and Crossed Streams.
Cross streams.
Cross Streams.
Yeah,
No,
I'll
they're
go with that
real.
one.
They're
Shit,
from
man.
Ontario. Black
Oh.
metal,
Then it has
3
to be
full lengths. Yeah, the one I made up was actually
Lorraine.
which one was
Lorraine's.
it? Steel Cross. I made up.
Oh
That's not mine.
shit.
No
Really?
shit.
No way.
Isn't that
Let
crazy?
disband and rename the band Steel Cross.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere now, someone is creating their band called Steel Cross. Yeah,
Still cross, man.
That was the
I'm
one
logging
I
it
said,
on the
"Oh,
Metallum.
That's a real one."
yeah.
Steel
I mean,
Cross.
I'm always fascinated by these names that either there's 10 bands with the same name and nobody bothered to check,
Okay.
or
Nah.
it obviously took 5 minutes and they all went, great, let's go with that. Like Cross Examination.
Fuck
It's
it,
like
cross
even
examination.
worse.
That's just like, whoa.
When when bands with the same name, they release an album the same year or like pretty much like 1 year apart from each other, and
The same
both
title
bands
as well.
both bands are amazing. Like Apparition, for instance, there's like an old school death metal band from Spain, and there's another band from America, like more like Death Doom or Incantation, and they
Yeah.
released albums on the same year, and both albums are amazing. And it's like,
Yeah.
fucking hell.
Yeah, it's like Pentagram. Like you have the Doom Pentagram from
Mhm.
Virginia.
And Chile, yeah.
The one from Turkey, they're great. The one they had to change their name. I can't remember what they changed it to. And then you have the Pentagram from Chile.
Chile,
They're,
yeah,
they're
with Anton.
fucking amazing. Yeah. So
They
Yeah.
are, they are.
yeah.
Yeah, we met Anton. We played with Lockup in
Yep.
2013. Cool guy, yeah.
Good guy. Yep.
Mizarkable. That's what the Turkish one renamed themselves. That's right.
Uh-huh.
The Turkish
All right.
Pentagram is Mizarkable. They're a great band too. Yeah.
All right, I'll check him out.
Yeah.
I'm always shocked. Like, I got this shirt. It was like, it said Night Shift. Oh, no, Graveyard Shift. And I thought, oh, this has to be a band, but there isn't one. I was like, how come?
Well, I would think that would be a really
That'd be a
common
cool name.
band
That'd be a cool name there.
Totally.
Yep.
No, everybody whiffed on that one.
Then we know I wear it. And they're like, I'm like, you don't know Graveyard Shift? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, we can be hipsters when we do that.
Oh, definitely. I was gonna say that. Very hipster,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep.
So what's coming up next for you guys? You want this?
Who goes?
Yeah, well, I mean, we are writing more new material. Well, more like Jaime and Danny are writing mostly new stuff. And yeah, like we have a couple of shows happening like after summer, because like both Danny and I are gonna be pretty busy this summer with our other projects. So while we are like working on the new material, we have a few shows, and then we'll see what we do. I mean,
Yeah, we've
But
got
it's
like pretty much written actually for the new record.
Wow.
It's gonna be a shorter one this time.
Our lesson.
maybe only
Maybe.
3 hours.
I mean, we also are playing a couple of, like small different
Releases, yeah.
things, small releases, like, I don't know, like, well, we cannot say much yet, but like we're playing a couple of different takes on our music, but like in the form of EPs probably. So yeah, we're busy with that. We're writing, and hopefully we can get like some more live shows by the end of the year, the beginning of the next one as well. But yeah, no, we're keeping busy anyway.
I know it's tough to orchestrate, but any chance of getting you over to the US?
Oh, fuck, I would love that. I don't know, like Danny, you're the one that actually deals with all these things, so
I would love to do that, but the reality is that we are a small band, and in order to play the States, we need visas, and it's like we can't afford that right now. It's really difficult paperwork, really expensive, and I would love that to happen. Definitely, I play the States with other projects. Danny is about to play the States with Persephone because they are touring with Fallujah in July, right? So yeah, that should be amazing. But I mean, maybe like at some point we can play like festival, like 70,000 tons of metal. We'd love to play that, and that's much easier for us European bands because we don't need visas to be there. But it's up to Andy, I think. So I mean, we would love to be there. I also played there with Cancer, and it was fucking incredible. So maybe that's a good start. We play the
Yeah.
festival. We see that there's enough attention for our music, then we can start saving money and working on getting our asses to America. We'd love to.
yeah, no, we love
my
to, like,
God.
honestly, we get like so many requests from people from their guys, so we'd definitely love to make it at one point. Yeah.
You know, figure we got Maryland Death Fest coming up in a couple of weeks here. So then
Alright.
it
Are
you
won't be
going
back
there?
for 2 years. So maybe we could pull that off for the next one.
Have you been to Maryland Death Fest?
Yeah, we always go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're right
Ah.
here in Baltimore, Maryland. So we will be there
Oh,
in 2 weeks.
Mhm.
amazing. Yeah, I played there in 2022 and it was
Ah.
incredible. It was a
Yeah.
festival I always wanted to attend, and I never thought I would play there. And my first show with Cancer was there, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
it
never
was
we
super
never
cool
know
to be
who's
there.
playing when until like the day of, though. That always bugs us. Because I want to plan, when I'm gonna, go get something to eat or whatever, and I never
Aye.
check out the merch. And
Yeah.
it's always like a mystery until, and also they on their official website, they always just put logos. And I don't
Mhm.
know every single band. So I'll be like,
Yes.
is that Bloodbath? What is that? Like, so yeah,
Yeah,
it
scratching.
takes some
Yeah.
research. Yeah.
We don't make things easy for people. Yeah,
And then,
like
Mhm.
Hell in the Harbor, we plotted out our day a little bit better, like who we definitely wanted to hit. But the
Mhm.
beers in the festival are like $16.50, $17.50 for one can of beer. So we
Oh,
have to
yeah,
make
that was
runs to
insane.
the car, for
Yeah, I mean, we're so involved in it. We're shuttling members of different bands to and from their hotels. So I mean, we're heavily involved in MDF. Yes.
And you guys can come over, you can sleep on our sofa, it's fine.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's such a great festival. I mean, I would love to come back at some point because lineups are great. The team behind the festival is amazing as well. It's a great experience, a great lineup, great audience.
It is great.
It's
yeah.
amazing.
Well, this was great, guys. I really appreciate it. We know a lot more about Eternal Storm now. So
Thank you so
thanks
much,
so much for
guys.
doing this.
Thank you so much for your time, for your great
I-
questions.
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.